Hey guys, welcome to the very final lecture of the Ultimate Guide to Linear Equation, the beginner's version. Congratulations on getting this far. You've really done a great job. In this lecture, we have a look at equation with the unknown on both sides. We're going to be learning to solve these types of equations that have the unknown variable sitting on both sides of the equal sign. So an example would be 2x plus 5 equals x plus 6. So as we can see, there is the x on both sides of the equal sign. Now this is something that we haven't tackled so far, but it's again pretty straightforward, and I will take you through the process. So in the process, when an unknown appears on both sides of the equal sign, you have to remove the unknown from one of the sides. Now usually the easiest thing to do is simply remove the smaller unknown from the relevant side. So let's have a look at the question here. Working with the example 2x plus 5 equals x plus 6, as I said, the easiest thing to do is to remove the smaller unknown from the relevant side. So we have 2x on one side and we have 1x on the other, because as we know, the number in front of an x is simply 1 when there's nothing there. So we simply go through the process of removing that x on both sides. So as we know from the Keeping Equations Balanced chapter, what we do to the right-hand side, we must also do to the left-hand side. So if we want to get rid of this x here, 1x here, we have to do minus x on that side. And what we do to the right-hand side, we do to the left. So that makes it 2x minus x. That reduces 2x down to x and leaves us with x plus 5 equals 6. Now, as we know from the Keeping Equations Balanced chapter, all we have to do now is get that x on its own and we have our solution. So the next thing that we do is get rid of the plus 5 by doing minus 5 on that side. And since we did it to the left-hand side, we must also do it to the right-hand side. So we have x, the 5's get cancelled out, equals 6 minus 5, which is simply 1. And obviously we can always verify our solution. So if x equals 1, so it's 2 times 1 plus 5 on the left-hand side, and 1 plus 6 on the right-hand side. So 2 times 1 is 2, plus 5 is 7, and 1 plus 6 is 7. So basically we get 7 equals 7. So we know that x equals 1 is the correct answer. So guys, we're going to be working through a number of these types of questions. So by the end of it, I can assure you that you'll be very proficient in solving these types of questions that have the unknown on both sides. So let's get into it. Alrighty, so let's have a look at these questions. Solve the following equations and check the solution. All right, we've been doing that anyway, so they've specifically asked us to do so in these questions. So part A says 5j minus 8 equals 3j plus 12. So let's write it out. We have 5j minus 8 equals 3j plus 12. Now, just to rehash, guys, the main point of this equation here, to solve it, we need to get the j on its own. Right now, the unique thing about this type of an equation is that the fact there is a j on both sides of the equation. Now, the smarter thing to do is to get rid of the smaller j, so 3j in this case compared to the 5j, on the relevant side. The way we do that is that it's a 3j here, or a positive 3j here. So to get rid of it, we would go minus 3j. So if we do minus 3j on the right-hand side, we must also do minus 3j on the left-hand side. Now that reduces 5j and minus 3j to 2j minus 8. The 3j and 3j here gets cancelled out. Then we are left with equals 12. Now guys, here is a very standard equation that we know how to solve. So I'm not going to spend a lot of time on doing these, and I'm just going to basically rush through the steps. So 2j minus 8 equals 12. For this one, we know that we have to get rid of the minus 8. Because that's the last operation we would have done to construct this equation of 2j minus 8. So the opposite of that is simply plus 8, and we do plus 8 on both sides, leaving us with 2j is equal to 12 plus 8, which is 20. Now, to get rid of that 2 on this side, so we would have to do divided by 2 on both sides. That leaves us with j is equal to 20 divided by 2, because obviously the 2's have cancelled out, and 20 divided by 2 is simply 10. So j is equal to 10 in this case. And if you want to check the solution, we have 5 times 10 minus 8, which gives us 42, which is equal to 3 times 10 plus 12, which is also 42. So we know that j equals 10 is the correct answer. Now let's look at the next question. Next question is 3z minus 15 equals 2z minus 11. So again, the same process. We need to get rid of the smaller unknown variable. So we go minus 2z on this side to get rid of that 2z there. And we go minus 2z on this side. So 3z minus 2z on the left-hand side brings us down to 1z, or just a z on its own, minus 15. And on the right-hand side, the 2z's have obviously cancelled out, and we are left with minus 11. Now, to get this z on its own, we need to get rid of this minus 15 here. So to deconstruct this equation, we would obviously get rid of the minus 15 by doing a plus 15 on this side. And then we would do a plus 15 on this side as well, which will basically cancels out the minus 15 and plus 15. And we are left with z equals negative 11 plus 15, which is just 4. So the solution for this one is z equals 4. And we can double check this. So 3 times 4 minus 15. So 3 times 4 is 12, minus 15 is negative 3 for the left-hand side. Then we have 2 times 4 minus 11. So 8 minus 11 is also negative 3. So we know that z equals 4 is the correct answer. Alright, so let's have a look at the next question now. We have 5d plus 2 equals 2d minus 10. Now we have to get rid of that 2d there. So we have minus 2d minus 2d. 5d and 2d cancel out to give us 3d and then plus 2. And these 2d's get cancelled out, obviously, and we're left with minus 10. Now, guys, again, a standard equation here. So the last operation we would have done to construct this equation in the flowchart would have been the plus 2. So the very first operation that we do for this one is minus 2 on both sides, leaving us with 3d is equal to minus 10 minus 2, which is minus 12. Now, to get rid of this 3 on this side, we would have to go divided by 3. And we would obviously do that on both sides. So the 3's get cancelled out, and we are left with d is equal to negative 12 divided by 3 is simply negative 4. So d is negative 4 for this question. And we can check our solution by simply substituting that in. So we have 5 times negative 4 plus 2. So 5 times negative 4 gives us negative 20, plus 2 gives us negative 18, equals 5 times, or negative 4 times 2, which is negative 8, minus 10 gives us negative 18. So we know that d equals negative 4 is the correct answer. Let's look at part D now. Alright, so we have 3x plus 1 equals 16 minus 2x. So we need to get rid of this minus 2x here. The only way to do that would be to do plus 2x. So just do the opposite of it. And we do plus 2x on both sides, which gives us 5x on this side, because 3x plus 2x is 5x, plus the 1 is equal to 16, because the minus 2x plus 2x simply get cancelled out. Now we have a standard equation again. So the very first thing we have to do is minus 1 on both sides to get rid of this 1 here, which leaves us with 5x is equal to 16 minus 1, which is 15. Then to get the x on its own, we have to get rid of that 5. So we do the opposite of it. So 5 times the opposite of that is divided by 5, which is on both sides. And then we are left with x equals 15 divided by 5, which is 3. So the solution for part D is x equals 3. We can double check that. We have to go 3 times 3 plus 1 for the right hand side. So 3 times 3 is 9, plus 1 is 10. Then we have 16 minus 2 times 3. 2 times 3 is simply 6, and 16 minus 6 gives us 10. So we know that x equals 3 is the correct answer. Alrighty, let's move to part E now. So the question is 3r minus 7 is equal to negative 17 minus 2r. Okay, so the very first thing is we need to get rid of this minus 2r here. We do that by doing the opposite, which is plus 2r. We do plus 2r on both sides. This leaves us with 5r on the left-hand side, because 3r plus 2r is 5r, minus 7, which is this part here, is equal to negative 17, because the minus 2r and plus 2r have now cancelled out. Now we have a standard equation again. So the last operation that we would have done to construct this equation in a flowchart would have been the minus 7. So the first thing that we do is the opposite of that, which is plus 7 on both sides to keep the equations balanced. This leaves us with 5r is equal to negative 17 plus 7, which is negative 10, as the 7's have now cancelled out on the left-hand side. So 5r is equal to negative 10. Now, to get rid of that 5 here, we have to do divided by 5 on both sides, where the 5's get cancelled out, and we are left with r is equal to negative 10 divided by 5, which is simply negative 2. So the solution for part E is r equals negative 2. We can double check that. We have 3 times negative 2 minus 7. 3 times negative 2 is negative 6, minus 7 is negative 13, equals minus 17 minus 2 times r, so 2 times negative 2. 2 times negative 2 is negative 4. So it becomes negative 17 plus 4, because this negative and this negative combine to give us a positive here. And negative 17 plus 4 is negative 13. So the left-hand side balances with the right-hand side. So we know that r equals negative 2 is the correct answer. Alrighty, so let's have a look at the very final question. So guys, I would like you to pause the video at this stage and have a go at this question on your own to see how you go. Alrighty, so we have 16 minus 2w equals w plus 4. So we have to get rid of the minus 2w here by doing plus 2w on both sides. So that leaves us with 16, as the 2w's have cancelled out, equals w plus 2w is 3w plus 4. So now we are looking at a standard equation, 3w plus 4 equals 16. So the last operation we would have done in a flowchart would have been plus 4. So the first operation is the opposite of that, which is minus 4 on both sides. So 16 minus 4 on the left-hand side is equal to 12, which is equal to 3w on its own, since the plus 4 and minus 4 have cancelled out. Now to get rid of the 3 there, we have to do divided by 3 on both sides. So we're left with w, as the 3's have now cancelled out, is equal to 12 divided by 3, which is 4. So the solution here is w is equal to 4. And we can double check that by simply substituting it in. So we have 16 minus 2 times 4 is equal to 4 plus 4. 16 minus 2 times 4 is 8, which is equal to 4 plus 4, which is also 8. So we know that w equals 4 is the correct answer. Were you able to get the same answer there? So guys, that was us working through a number of different equations that have the unknown on both sides. Now let's move into a type of question that involves brackets, and let's learn how to solve these types of questions. Alrighty guys, so let's have a look at these types of questions that involve brackets. So part A says 3f plus 2 is equal to 2f plus 7 plus 4. So obviously our unknown variable is the f. The question says to expand these brackets. Now guys, we have to now, expanding brackets basically just means getting rid of the brackets. And there's a very simple process for that. All we do is take the number that sits outside the bracket and we multiply it to everything that sits inside the bracket. So let's take the 3 on the outside. We multiply it by the f that's on the inside, so 3 times f, which gives us 3f. Then we have plus. Then we have 3 multiplied by 2, which gives us 6. That's it. We have just expanded the bracket of 3 bracket f plus 2. Next up, we have 2 bracket f plus 7. So same process. We multiply the 2 with the f first. So it makes it 2f. Then we have 2 times 7, which is 14. And then we have plus 4 to finish off. Now guys, you'll notice that this is very similar to the questions that we've been doing so far, where we have the unknown on both sides of the equation, and then we have to simply solve it. So we have 3f plus 6 on one side, and we have 2f plus 14 plus 4 on the other. And 14 plus 4 simply becomes 18. So we are looking at 3f plus 6 equals 2f plus 18. So typically we get rid of the smaller unknown, so we do minus 2f on both sides, leaving us with f plus 6 equals 18. Then we do minus 6 on both sides, which leaves us with f is equal to 18 minus 6, which is equal to 12. So the value here is f equals 12. And we can obviously double check our answer. So we have 3 bracket 12 plus 2, which is 14. So 3 times 14, which is 42, is equal to 12 plus 7, which is 19, times 2, which is 38, plus 4, which is also 42. So we know that f equals 12 is the correct answer. Let's move on to the next question. Alrighty, so we have the second question now. Same deal. We have to expand these brackets by getting rid of them. So we have 4 times g, which gives us 4g, plus 4 times 3, which gives us 12, minus 2 times g, which gives us 2g. Then we have minus 2 times positive 7, which is minus 14, plus 4. So that takes care of our left-hand side. All the brackets are gone. Then we have 5 times g, which is 5g. Then we have 5 times 2, which is positive 10, plus 7. So we've just expanded all the brackets. Now, let's simplify these equations. We have 4g minus 2g, which gives us 2g. 12 minus 14 plus 4. So 12 minus 14 is minus 2, plus 4 is plus 2, equals 5g plus 10 plus 7, which is simply 5g plus 17. Then we get rid of the minus 2g on both sides, leaving us with 2 is equal to 5g minus 2g is 3g plus 17. Then we get rid of the 17 on both sides. So minus 17 minus 17 gives us minus 15 on the left-hand side, and then 3g on the right-hand side. Then we get rid of the 3 on both sides, and we have g is equal to negative 15 divided by 3, which is negative 5. So g equals negative 5 is the solution for part B. Alrighty, so let me get rid of the working out here. However, I want you to pause the video at this stage and have a go at part C on your own and see how you go. Okay, so I'm hoping that you've had a chance to have a go at this part C on your own. So let's expand these brackets out. We have 7 times v, which is 7v. We have 7 times 3, which is minus 21. Or the other way to look at it is positive 7 times negative 3, which is negative 21. Then we have minus 2 times positive 5, which is minus 10. Then we have minus 2 times negative v, which is plus 2v, plus 25, which is equal to 4 times v is 4v, 4 times 3 is plus 12, and then we have minus 8. So now let's simplify these down. We have 7v plus 2v, which is 9v. We have minus 21 minus 10, which is minus 31, plus 25, which is minus 6. That is equal to 4v plus 12 minus 8, which is simply plus 4. Now let's get rid of the smaller unknown. So we have minus 4v on this side, minus 4v on this side, which gives us 5v minus 6 is equal to 4. Then, getting rid of the minus 6, we do plus 6 on this side and plus 6 on this side, which leaves us with 5v equals 4 plus 6, which is 10. Then we do divided by 5 to get rid of the 5 on this left-hand side. So we're left with v is equal to 10 divided by 5, which is equal to 2. And we can also verify our answer by simply substituting in. But we already know the process there, so I'm not going to spend time doing that. So guys, that does bring us to the end of this course. You've done a fantastic job so far, and you really should be very proud. If you've gone through all the previous lectures properly and have done all the work that I assigned you, then I can assure you that you're in an awesome position in terms of linear equations. From here, I encourage you to enroll into the next course for my linear equations that has us going through some of the more intermediate topics such as sketching linear graphs and working with linear equations. So guys, thank you again for your participation. Really well done. And I hope that has been really helpful. Feel free to get in touch with me anytime you need it. And I will see you in the next course. Thanks guys.